All right, so today I'm making a video on having multiple cars in an apartment complex. I've lived in my apartment complex for, holy cow, it's bright. Uh, I've lived at my apartment complex for a little over 2 years, and at one point I had 11 cars here. I'm probably not going to publish this video until you know I'm out of this place. But whoops, there we go. But there was one point where I had a whole bunch of vehicles here. So as you can see, they've got that Airstream. That's not mine. This spot right here, you've got a little bit of an overhang right there. I had a truck with a 14-foot flatbed on it that I rebuilt the transmission inside of my apartment complex, or inside of my apartment on the kitchen counter. First time I ever did it, and took me 3 weeks and it ended up working, which is pretty cool. But I had to park it in that spot because of the overhang on the back of it. Yeah. Hey guys. So that being said, at one point I did have 11 cars. So the trick is to make it look like everybody has a lot of cars. So what you do, that's my truck right there. Boop, boop. And then there's my Sentra and my 240s over there. I even have a trailer, but a friend is borrowing it. So what you do is, first off, you don't tell anybody that you have that many cars. Secondly, you get multiple parking spots because they're gonna know you have 2 or 3 cars. Not the biggest deal in the world, but then you want to hide your cars in plain sight. So say something like this Subaru right here. That could be my car. Nobody would know. All you have to do is park all your cars, the ones that people know about. You have to park them in a way that people see those and say, oh, those are Zach's cars, my cars. I always back my cars in. You notice my truck was backed in, my Sentra was pulled in forward, but I'd go get a Monster. I hadn't had my caffeine yet, so. But what you want to do, I'll always, like cars that aren't mine, I'll park them nose in with the license plate showing. Most apartment complexes, the biggest deal is making sure they don't get towed, and making sure that they don't get looked at or tagged or ticketed. So you want to make sure that you have up-to-date stickers on them. You can buy stickers online that are fake. If you just want to use an old plate and throw a year sticker on it, you're good to go. So it won't get towed for that. You also want to make sure you don't have any flat tires. Dead batteries, not the biggest deal in the world, but you want to make sure that you have a pretty good setup as far as the cars looking normal and not looking like they're yours, but not looking like they're hidden. And on top of that, you don't want your cars to all be in one spot. I did that for a while. I got in trouble. I learned my lesson when I had 3 vehicles towed in one night. And trust me when I say, that is a stressful ass thing to find when you come home from work. So with that, just make sure that your cars have tags on them, real or fake. The tow companies, check your local laws, but the tow companies can't check to see if your registration is actually good. And I'm not sure if it's illegal. Check with your local law enforcement, but I'm not sure if it's illegal to have a fake sticker on your license plate. But as far as tow truck drivers are concerned, they're just going to see that, you know, it's April 2020. They're going to see that October 2020 and not look at it a second bit. So there was one time where I live all the way over there, 2 buildings down, 1 building over, and I had a friend of mine had me babysitting his car. So I got a little creative with it. Now the car was a total piece of shit. What I did was I put it back here. As you can see, this is a parking spot. I don't know why, but I put it back there, put a fake sticker on it, made sure the tires were good. You're good to go. And I mean, given every day I have to, drive the long way out of my apartment complex and just put some eyes on it. But yeah, it's doable. This apartment complex is pretty crazy tight, the one that I live in right now. And yeah, it's been fairly easy. There's been stressful times, there really has, but you can totally get away with having multiple cars. It's it's not too bad. I've got 4 vehicles and a trailer right now. Boom. The trailer I just tuck under the back of my truck, and nobody can ever really say anything about it because nobody ever really sees it. But with that, just make sure you've got good tags, your tires are inflated, and spread them out, and park all the cars your apartment complex knows about the same way. See, backed in. So, and then the cars that your apartment complex doesn't know about, you want to park those nose in, and yeah, super easy. And if they pressure you about it, just say, well, what car is the problem? They might ask you, well, how many cars do you have, or what are you doing, or are you running a mechanic shop, or are you flipping cars? None of their business. They don't have any right to ask about any of that, I don't think. Probably check with your local law enforcement regarding most of what I'm talking about, but this is what's worked for me. So there's a handful of tips, and thanks for watching my video.